What happens when your coworkers find out about your successful cooking channel? Oh, you get picked to make an entree for the holiday party. Let's make chicken cacciatore. And since we're making so much of it, instead of using my slow cooker, we're going to use the Dutch oven tonight. Let's take a look at our cast and crew for this evening. We have a lovely bulb of garlic, an assortment of bell peppers, 2 little orbs that are definitely going to make me cry, 2 big boy cans of crushed tomatoes, 1 itty-bitty can of olives because I don't know how people feel about them, emotional support for the fact that you're cooking for like 20 people. I'm just kidding, this goes in the food. Fresh Roma tomatoes, fresh herbs, and the 2 things I didn't film were my tomato paste and my chili flakes, but we'll get to that later. We're on to the star of this evening, chicken thighs. And if you really don't like dark meat, you could use breast, but I find that this stays moist and tender. Lay the chicken down on some parchment paper and you're going to season both sides liberally with salt and pepper. Over at our preheated Dutch oven, we're going to coat the bottom with olive oil, and we're going to lay these down and sear them on both sides for 4 to 6 minutes. The interior isn't going to be cooked, that's going to finish cooking in the oven. And because we're doing so much of this, we're going to be doing it in batches. And that time is going to go by a lot quicker if you do karaoke into a paper towel roll. Once they sear on both sides, we're just going to set them aside because we're going to make our sauce in the Dutch oven next. And of course I did that off camera so you wouldn't have to see me cry again. Before we add these to the pot, we're just going to take a spoon and try to scrape the bits of the bottom off. Don't worry, they are going to come off eventually, and that's just going to add flavor to your sauce. Once you've added a little more olive oil, go ahead and drop in the onions, followed by the garlic, and you're just going to want to cook that until everything becomes a little more aromatic. Then you drop your peppers in, and you're just going to cook those down until they become tender. Don't forget to season with some dried Italian herbs. Once they become soft, you can have a glass of wine. You're adding it to the pot, you're not drinking the wine yet. The wine's going to deglaze the pan and get any of those bits that were still stuck at the bottom off, and now we're going to add our tomatoes in. We're going to add just a teaspoon of these red chili flakes for a little extra flavor, and a couple tablespoons of this concentrated tomato paste. Once everything's mingling together, it's time to add it to the chicken. Now, if you weren't making this for a lot of people, you could just add the chicken back into the Dutch oven and pop it in the oven, but since we're doing so much of it, we made 2 trays and we're going to add it to the trays and then put them in the oven. Bake at 350 and use a quick read thermometer after 40 minutes. If it's cooked, we're going to pull it out and add our fresh herbs. We're adding thyme, basil, and parsley because it gives it a nice flavor. Now, traditionally speaking, this would have also had mushrooms in it, but since some people I was going to the party with didn't like mushrooms, I decided to omit them. You follow your bliss, do what you like best. We're going to top it with the olives and tomatoes, cover it with some tin foil, and hope we don't hit a speed bump on the way to the party tonight. No matter what you're celebrating, I hope it's a season full of love and joy. Happy holidays, my friends.